So the field makes its way out onto the circuit. First of two junior Rotax finals, and we're about to get things underway. Let's have a look at the starting order. So Kai Helets and Bruno Malders make it an all JJ Racing front row in the 274 and the 277. The 299 of Thomas Straven and the 251 of Leon Zelenko. That's row 2. Farin Mega in the 276 and the 297 of Ethan Jeff Hall. That's row 3. Matis Turlo in the 242 and Marius Rose in the 228 round out the top eight positions, with Alberto Kiko Fracassi and Theo Blin from Italy and France in the 272 and 230 respectively, rounding out the top 10. Danny Shields from the UAE in the 210, ahead of Nick Gerhards in the 206 from the Netherlands. That's row 6. Row 7, the 265 of David Outledner, the 248 of Max Knappen. Row 8, it's the 240 of Aaron Krepsik and the 250 of Daniel Sugar. Maxim Sichoko, Giacomo Marchoro and the 238 and the 207 round at the top 9 rows. We've already got the 255 pulling to the side, and that's Mikkel Pedersen, who was going to start on the inside of row number 10 alongside Kasper Schurmans in the 244. So Mikkel Pedersen's weekend has been hit with a killer blow, unfortunately, I'm afraid. Guy Alberg from Israel, Magnus Pedersen in the 247, Samuel Ifrid, Gazi Motlika, Louis Comin, Gennaro Belfiore, Alexander Skelton, Nick Trobek, Piotr Borovic, Austin Lee, Pietro Santesi, Frederick Zebis, Chloe Chong, Federico Strazzari, Rafael Reinhofer will not be racing for the rest of this weekend. I've had it confirmed by FM Racing's very own Max Fleischmann. And then you've got Vic Stevens. So 2 drivers out of the race. So a real shame there for the 255 of Mikkel Pedersen. But we're about to get things underway here. For final number 1 out of 2 here this weekend for these drivers. So let's just see if the timer does count down. Well, it has started ticking away as they all hurtle their way into turn 1 for the first time of asking, as Kai Rilets and Bruno Malders lead the way. Thomas Straven staying in 3rd position as they head through turn 2 for the first time. And it looks like that is Leon Zelenko, followed by Farin Mega, going through into the left-hander at 5. And there's nearly 2 or 3 abreast battles happening, going through into that corner. Into the next right-hander, it's still 2 abreast. It's rather nip and tuck as to whether you're going to get through that corner if you are side by side with another driver. So 10 minutes plus 10 minutes and 17 seconds plus an additional lap. Everyone's squabbling over positions on the circuit. Aaron Krepsik already up into 14th position. Max Knappen, other drivers that are trying to make some inroads. So no Mikkel Pedersen, no Rafael Reinhofer. Looks like Vic Stevens has had a bit of a drama as well. Austin Lee has already stormed up 10 positions up to 20th from 30th on the grid. And he's running in the 55.7. So the pace has been found after what was a difficult 3 heats for the youngster based out of Germany, but proudly sporting the stars and stripes on his race overalls. As there is Krepsik trying to get battling with the likes of Danny Shields, who's behind him. Max Knappen and Nick Gerhards, who are just up ahead. David Outlander has made his way into the top 10 behind Matis Turlo and Farin Mega. But at the moment, Kai Rilets leads from Bruno Malders by just over 0.16 of a second. Thomas Strauver in 3rd. Leon Zelenko in 4th. Ethan Jeff Hall in 5th. Marius Rose, Theo Blin, Farin Mega, Matis Turlo and David Outlander. That rounds out the top 10. Alberto Kiko Fracassi is also in the top 11 ahead of Max Knappen, Nick Gerhards, Aaron Krepsik, Danny Shields, who ran out the top 15. Theo Blan's got past Marius Rose, and that's important for points and also the grid position for the second final. So the French driver up into 6th place. And more changes up and down the order. Danny Shields drops behind Giacomo Marchoro from San Marino into 16th position. But there's the battle on your screens between Leon Zelenko, Thomas Strauven and Ethan Jeff Hall. That is the battle over 3rd to 5th position, whilst Rilets and Malders have gotten away into the distance in front of those drivers by a considerable margin, by about the best part of nearly 0.7 of a second. So Mikkel Pedersen out, Vic Stevens a non-starter, along with Rafael Reinhofer, with Frederick Zebis in the 234 from Denmark, rounding out the order so far. Daniel Sugar and Kasper Schulmans making their way towards the top 15. They're 16th and 17th respectively. Danny Shields is falling into the clutches of Austin Lee, who's running in the high 51.9s. And there, now there's dramas there for the 2:38. And that particular car is Lithuania's Maxim Sucherko, who is out and has dropped out of the running. Chloe Chong and Federico Strazzari also down towards the bottom of the order. So that means we're going to have 4 out of the 36 drivers we had 2 non-starters and now we've got 2 retirements at this particular moment in time. So a real shame for Lithuania's Maxim Sucherko, who was running in P25. Fine Mega and Max Knappen have got past Marius Rose, who now completes the top 10. Austin Lee, in the meantime, has got past the UAE's Danny Shields up into 18th position. So Austin Lee already making up a huge amount of gains in this race so far, up 12 places. There's a bit of action here, and that means that Leon Zelenko has been passed, not just by Thomas Strauven, but also Ethan Jeff Hall, more importantly, is up into 3rd place. And now the hunt for the 2 in front begins, and Mulders in 2nd, Rilets in 1st. They are not that far away from Ethan Jeff Hall, and Mattis Turlo, who's rounding out the top 7 positions in this race, is currently fastest out there. Will make that Bruno Mulders in 2nd in the 2:77, representing the Netherlands, a 51.331 from the Dutch driver. But then that's quickly changed because Germany's Farin Mega in 8th place, just half a second behind Mattis Turlo, has just taken the fastest lap time here as well. So Maxim Sucherko, a confirmed retirement. Magnus Pedersen has dropped all the way down the order, and you can see here more battling away, and this is where things are going to get rather interesting, and there's been a bit of drama there. That is the 280 of Nick Trobeck. The front bumper looks a little... Oh, now, that's what you don't want, your Nassau plate going in front of your field of vision. So that looks like Nick Trobeck will have to pull that into the pits, and that will call time on the 280s race. But in the meantime, Trobeck has got past... Zelenko has got past Mattis Turlo, because Thomas Strauven has dropped all of a sudden. There was a battle between the 3 drivers, so Strauven's dropped all his way down into 9th place, having run as high as 3rd position. But Ethan Jeff Hall doing a very, very good job. Runs as a mini in the United Kingdom, but over here in Europe he runs as a junior, as he's able to do so due to the age requirements for running as a junior. But he's shown some good credence. He did showcase some good pace in the heats, not just here at Adria, but also at Karting Genk for the first round of the season. So good to have some new, young, fresh blood here in the championship. So at the moment, the top 15 is being rounded out by Hungary's Daniel Sugar, as we are into the last 4 minutes and 55 seconds, plus an additional lap of this race. So Rilets leads from Mulders by just over 0.3 of a second. Ethan Jeff Hall rounds out the top 3, but it has all changed once again, I fear. And you can see now Ethan Jeff Hall has actually ended up behind. That is Mattis Turlo in 4th, Leon Zelenko in 3rd place. And here comes the likes of Farin Mega from Germany, who's at the back of that train. And there is Theo Blas from France. So this is where it's all going to change. Thomas Strauven has got ahead of the Netherlands' Max Knappen, back up into 8th position. David Altner still rounds out the top 10 for Poland. Aaron Krepsik has now gotten into 11th, having passed Denmark's Marius Rose. Nick Gerhards rounds out the top 13 ahead of Daniel Sugar and Alberto Kiko Fracassi. There are drivers trying to make moves into the sweeping right-hander at turn 1, but sometimes it's not always... Sometimes there's that risk versus reward question that needs to be answered, but sometimes you can't answer it after just 1 lap if you catch up with somebody in front of you. However, the good thing is that other changes are going to happen. Austin Lee's gotten up into 17th, so the American running under a German license is 2 positions away from the top 15, which is going to be a pretty good effort considering he started down in 30th position at the beginning of this race. 3 minutes and 25 seconds still to go. Retirements are Trobeck on lap 5, Sucherko lap 3, Pedersen before we'd even gotten going, Renhofer and Stevens non-starters. Renhofer out due to injury, but we wish Rafael Renhofer, all the very best in his recovery, and hopefully we'll see him back for the third round at Mulsanne in the penultimate, well, in the middle of July later on this year. So at the moment, Kai Hillert's still doing the business at hand and keeping himself in contention, and effectively this would make him the new points leader after this race if he keeps ahead of Bruno Malders. Well, if he stays ahead of Bruno Malders, but that was a hell of a move. Farin Mega on absolute fire at the minute. He's just managed to get past. I think that was Ethan Jeff Hall and Theo Blau in one fell swoop. They came out of turn 5 and Farin Mega just hit the accelerator on the Esprit chassis and it just propelled him forward. And that was a really, really good move. He timed it to perfection, did Farin Mega. So that puts him up into P5 on the road. However, things are changing up and down the order. Alexander Skelton now rounds out the top 20. It's been a difficult weekend for the Latvian, especially with 2 incidents in 2 heats, and there's more dramas there. Oh my goodness me. That is the 207 of Giacomo Machoro, who pulls to a halt and is out of the kart. The youngster from San Marino. That is an unfortunate retirement. And that means now, I think there was a bit of a coming together, maybe with Kasper Schormans, I believe, in the 26. So a real shame for Giacomo Machoro and Kasper Schormans. They were both battling very hard indeed. Daniel Sugar, well, the thing is that at the moment there are 2 drivers that are on the cusp of the top 15. We still have a minute and 42. That's Danny Shields and Austin Lee, both in 16th and 17th respectively. But Farin Mega, with that absolutely brilliant move going through turn 5, got the job done on Theo Blanc and Ethan Jeff Hall. That puts him in real good contention for the second final later on today. But Hilert still leads and has put in the fastest lap of 51.099. Bruno Malders second, Leon Zelenko, Matis Turlo, Farin Mega, Theo Blanc, Thomas Strauber, Ethan Jeff Hall, David Altneder now ahead of Max Klappen, and that rounds out the top 10. Aaron Krebsik, Alberto Kiko Fracassi, Nick Gerhards, Daniel Sugar and Marius Roos round out the top 15. Danny Shields, Alexander Skelton, Austin Lee, Louis Comas and Guy Oldbach round out the top 20. So Giacomo Machoro is pretty much a confirmed retirement at this particular moment in time. Rounding out the field is Samuel Ifrid, Frederick Seppis, then it's Belfiore, Motrica, Santesi, Schormans, Strazzari, Magnus Pedersen and Chloe Chong, with Piotr Borowicz rounding out the 30 that are still racing. So we now head on to the penultimate lap. The gap between first and second, still a stalemate between the 2, as Zelenko keeps ahead of Matthias Turlo for 3rd position. Farin Mega still in 5th, but Theo Blanc looking to try and hunt down the German. Thomas Strauven, Ethan Jeff Hall, they round out the top 8 ahead of Max Knappen, who's ahead of Aaron Krebsik, as David Altneder now rounds out the top 11. But Krebsik is ahead of Max Knappen, so the Hungarian from KMS Europe now up into P9. Timer is about to expire here, as there's been more dramas. Oh, Pietro Santesi, I think, was one of the karts involved, and the other one. So there is Santesi. I wondered if that might have been, I'm not too sure, that could have been Santesi and maybe Samuel Ifrid that might have had a coming together there. It was it was the 252. Didn't really catch out the number of the second kart, but we're on the final lap of this race, and Kai Hillertz did exactly the right thing, got into the first corner first and hasn't really looked back, and Bruno Malders will look to get the MMA gloves on for the second final later on today. You can still see the drivers are still battling away, and that is the battle between Krebsik, Knappen and Altneder. That is for 9th, 10th and 11th position. We're on the final lap, and we have had, I count now, 6 retirements, well, 4 retirements and 2 non-starters, and that was Gennaro Belfiore and Pietro Santesi, it looks like, that came together. But Kai Hillertz takes a comfortable victory and takes the checkered flag by just over 6.5 tenths of a second ahead of Bruno Malders from the Netherlands. Croatia's Leon Zelenko rounds out the top 3 ahead of Matthias Turlo, Farin Mega, with Theo Blanc, Thomas Strauben, Ethan Jeff Hall, Aaron Krebsik, Max Knappen, David Altneder, Alberto Kiko Fracassi, Daniel Sugar, Nick Gerhards, Marius Roos rounding out the top 15. So the top 15 provisionally score points until the conclusion of any judicial and technical matters post-race. After 15th, it was Danny Shields, Alexander Skelton, Austin Lee, Louis Comas, Guy Oldberg, Frederick Seppis, Gazi Motlika, Samuel Ifrid, Kasper Schormans, Magnus Pedersen, Federico Strazzari, Chloe Chong, Pietro Borovic, Pietro Santesi, and unfortunately Gennaro Belfiore in the 2:14 would retire on the penultimate lap of the race, with Giacomo Machoro out on lap 10, Nick Trobeck lap 6, Maxim Sachurko on lap 3, Mikkel Pedersen before the rolling start formation even happened, with Rafael Renhofer and Vic Stevens, both non-starters.